I think it's always like hit or miss. You don't know what's going on. There's just so many people that have died and tragically died.
I'm hearing Cyndi Lauper girls just want to have fun.
Oh, well, you know what? Hey. Girls just want to have fun. Did you see that orb? That is pretty freaky.
That is.
I do believe in this stuff. I think it's always hit or miss. You just don't know.
Well, of
Like
course.
it's never.
I mean, it's not gonna be.
They're like laughing about it. I was like, I still believe in it. I do think it still happens.
Yeah.
I just.
There's just some vanilla.
So when we did the Alexandria tour, they had some sightings and stuff. More history there, like Washington and all that.
No, it quit
But
working.
Nothing? All right, let's go over to the wall, everybody.
To the window. To the
to wall, to the wall, to the wall. And I'm gonna like tape because this is where the orb was before. I mean, that's beautiful. That cross.
Right, really?
But it's not a cross.
It's not?
Nope.
No, didn't you hear him say it was an earthquake thing?
Oh, that is. I thought the other things were.
Well, those were too, but this
You
is
see the bolt that's in the middle?
Yeah, I see the bolt up here. I thought
Yeah.
that's
Some
an
of the houses
earthquake.
had round ones.
But these had,
Yeah, the round ones.
None of you were like
Ew.
screaming things out at me that you had a crazy, anomaly show up or, anything that you heard specifically. So yeah, again, this is a hit or miss location, so we'll see what pops up. The only thing that really came up that actually occurs quite often is that she heard girls just want to have fun. Like literally the phrase. So we're talking about Anne and Mary. It happens all the time.
Really?
Yes. One of the most prominent
You
things
heard
I
that?
found.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
right here.
Yeah.
I told y'all. I said.
I know, but I thought you were joking.
No. Like it
It
actually
came
happens
through
all
there.
the time.
No, I made that up.
It happens all the time?
All the time. I would say at least
So
once a week.
weird.
Oh my God.
The other phrase that actually is very memorable here is one night I'm going through the spot checking and I hear two female DJs laughing hysterically going, "They think we're guys."
Oh
I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. I can't make this stuff up, everybody.
know.
Like it again, not a coincidence. One of the few pictures you can find of Anne Bonny with a shirt on.
Oh my.
The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman.
Maybe her naked.
Yeah, way back. So,
yeah, back over
yeah,
there.
back at the mansion.
When this thing worked.
Yeah, and we actually, like, every device that you guys have, if it's a rechargeable device, everything gets fully recharged every day. If it takes batteries, it gets rechargeable, fresh batteries every single day. Mimi's device is not working. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Last night, the one spirit box that was recording actually only gave us an hour and 18 minutes, which was about the time we walked out of Philadelphia Alley last night. So that one quit working over there. So very interesting indeed. And it wasn't that it quit working, it just stopped recording. So it is one of those weird pieces. You already know that the name of Anne Bonny's father was William Cormack. The name of her mother, the mistress, was Mary Brennan. None of you were expecting a secondary Mary. Remember, we have Mary Reed, the friend/lover.
Oh, yeah.
So again, I kind of did that on purpose because you weren't expecting me to throw another name out there that you've already heard tonight. But we didn't get the name Mary, but we do have the name William that showed up relatively close. Again, I also look for bleed over here from Philadelphia Alley because we will get it. Calico Jack, the original Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So this guy was named Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. His father was a tailor, so textiles were very important to the Rackham family. Now, in a nutshell, the jackets came from British captains that he killed. So, very fancy jacket, Calico Jack, fancy jacket. You guys are getting the point of that, right? The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect Kingston to come through, like say on the earbud spirit boxes, but the one Mimi was using, I've had the word king come out of that one. The word king would actually suffice in this location. I would take it. So, with that device that you've had, the second night or third night that we used that guy, because that's only a few months old for the tour too, I'm wrapping things up and the person handing it to me, and it goes, pirate, plain as day, like not part of a sentence, not part of anything. So I'm like, okay, we all heard it, and it was a light night, so it was really like a big thing for us. The cool thing is that the person using the thermal imaging camera was nearby, so we have the audio from the thermal imaging camera to prove it. And we played it over and over and over again. Like, it was like, holy cow. And it wasn't like the Pittsburgh Pirates won the game. It was like, pirate. I'm like, you're shitting me right now? Like, it was a light night. So, but again, those were the only two questions that I gave you. Did you guys ask anything rogue? other than girls if they were having fun? All right, so you guys were a very fun group. I really appreciate like the focus and the.
Is it just
you know,
me?
even
But didn't
telling
that
me,
look
like,
like
you
a
think,
face?
we'll kind of see what happens. They're not
Like a
really into this,
face?
but we'll see what the history does.
It does kind of look
And I
like a
think you
face.
guys all got the point.
When we
Like,
look at
something
it,
is not
you see
scary.
face.
It's just the fear of the unknown. It's really what it is. So when you're in control with 11 devices in your hands, it makes things a whole lot more, you know.
So I was like, oh, no.
Now you're going to see when I go through all of your data in the morning that report's going to be pretty lengthy. And today's what, the 21st? Is that today's date? 22nd? So we got a few more tours this month, obviously, October. So your tour is going to be eventually going to get lost at the bottom, like kind of goes through it. So I make everything downloadable.
Holy shit! Oh!
What?
Oh! Just saw orb flash, like, she just saw it too. Holy crap! Yes.
Stop the recording. Let's make sure we save it. So all of that, you know, the stuff you guys are seeing on TV, them guys literally, they say they're spending one night. Bullshit.
No.
They're spending 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 nights to get a couple.
Yeah,
of things
just to
done.
get a one a good thing. Yeah, it's all clipped in. Yeah,
They're showing
definitely.
you that it looks like one night, so they put on the same black shirt, get angry at the same.
Yeah,
wall,
it's that.
and
Yeah,
then-
it's so funny.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
I tried to tell my daughter that. She's like, "Oh, they saw something." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Yeah, come do it for real and see how this really goes. It's really about the history. And the other thing I like to point out too is because, you know, I do get a skeptic or somebody that likes to heckle all night long. It is one of those pieces where hopefully tonight you learn like this is about history and not everybody's an asshole or a demon. It's one of those pieces like how many assholes do you actually run into in the middle of the daytime unless they're driving? So again, we're not out here hunting demons and dark spirits. Like, it's just not one of those pieces. It's about the history, and without the history, the evidence means jack. It doesn't mean anything. So I have some fun at this location. Those of you that want to see the front of the powder magazine and get some footage up there, you can do that by exiting the lot this way and going in front of the bushes to your left. And the only thing I ask is that you do not interrupt the other tours. Every tour likes to stop in front of the powder magazine. If you'd like to go over to the cemetery across the street, again, that's a popular stop. So if somebody's there, just kind of wait your turn before you go over there and get some footage. But again, we're going to spend about 5 minutes here or so, just because that's kind of determine if this is a hit or if it's a miss. So come find me in 5 minutes at the wall. I'll be over there smoking because you guys all know what the hell you're doing by now. So have some fun. Let's do this.
Yeah. We're going to go check out the bathroom over here and make sure there's not. Oh, what's that?
With yours.
Kristen. Oh, she heard this. Oh, he said it was something. Okay, we're going to go pee if there's not a homeless person in here.
I'm going to tell him to get out so I can
Like,
pee.
okay, I got it. I'm not, you know, like on that, have you watched that dude? Like on the just thing, be like, okay, we're going in. We're going in, people. And they're, oh, it's a padlock. Probably could keep the homeless people out.
Damn it.
I'm going to pee right behind there, though. I'm fixing to pee behind there. So, okay, here. You got to pee? I'm going to pee.
Yeah, I got to pee. I got to
Here,
pee
I'll
bad.
hold it. And you go pee. I'm going to pee back behind
Are
you.
y'all kidding?
I got to pee. I'm about to pee my pants. There's got to be a bathroom around the corner. Oh my God. I'm here for it. Hold the vodka. Okay.
Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, good. Oh, they're telling me not to pee. Yeah. Oh, on this side. Yeah. It's telling you not to pee back there. That's what it said. Don't pee back there. The demon's gonna get you.
Oh my God. Nothing.
Nothing. Just taping. Well, go have him check it.
She's already looked at it.
Mine says Bon Jovi. I'm just kidding. It does not. It says BOMJSVA. It's Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi. No. Nothing. Nothing. My mom's just went off. I mean, like, it just quit. It just says Bon Jovi. I'm just kidding, though. I was going to say B-O-M. It's B-O-M-J, but I was like, it's nothing. It's nothing. We peed back there.
I just peed in the corner.
Oh my God, I peed in the corner. I felt so much better. Yeah, you can't say
so
because it's locked.
I know.
So I feel bad, but I'm like,
Damn. I just did a good squat, Mimi.
Me too, and I kind of peed a little bit on my shoe. That I was like, I was like this, going,
Like, how's my pants?
don't touch nothing.
like,
Oh,
holding my
oh,
pants
you know
up.
what? I got. Oh yeah,
It's too late to wipe now.
No, it isn't. I got sprayed from COVID. I got all this shit piled up.
Okay.
At least
I
I don't
know
think I
you
touched
did.
anything.
I don't think I
but,
did either.
But if you
No, I'm fine. Well, mine's broke. Mine quit working.
I got that.
No, nothing.
He said he told me that I was being disrespectful to the spirits because I was like, I don't believe in this shit. Because when I walked in, I was like, hey, demons, it's me, your girl. Because that's from a show, BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was joking. He was like, you're being disrespectful. I was like, okay.
Aww.
I think he's pretty serious, but
He's
we just,
serious about this stuff.
but it is like he said, it's hit or miss. You don't
Yeah.
know what you're getting or not, and then we'll
Yeah,
see on
and
the
mine
video.
quit working, so.
I mean, I do believe in stuff because I've seen it.
What have you seen?
The Richardson house, Mama Richardson.
What?
Are you kidding me?
I never
People,
saw.
people walking down that steps and that door swinging back and forth, and everybody, the whole family knows and has seen it.
Oh.
That door would swing in the middle of the night, and then
What
we'd hear people
door?
come down that damn stairs, down that staircase.
I always slept downstairs.
Oh, that's the safest room. I wouldn't even sleep back in the other room, and I remember sleeping up there in that green room, and I was scared to death. The cousins,
Really?
Michael and Michael, would be like, yeah. And then I remember I was sleeping on the cot, like in one of the green rooms, and there was a blue room, and then Mama's room was over that way.
Yeah.
So and then there was like a little way to go. They snuck in there and grabbed my hand in the middle of the night. Damn cousins. Fucking Michael Lewis. Fucking my stepbrother. Because we all hung out, you know. But it was haunted. I saw it. And Laura, she had something at her house in Bedford. My stepsister. She had to leave. They had the house blessed by a priest.
What was
Yeah.
she having?
She had he was haunting the house. He was haunting the child, and
What child?
Lauren, the firstborn, and he would come to the window, and they had 2 child dogs in the backyard, and she's like, "There's a man in my window. There's a man." And she always said that shit happened in the house where things would break off the shelf. Everything. They had the whole house blessed. They said there was some kind of Indian something there. They had to sell the house. They moved in with Dad for a while because of that.
I remember that. Yeah.
I totally believe. Like, I was
Closest
like,
thing I've ever had is I was at the Faust Hotel or Faust Hotel in
What do you got going on?
Isn't that haunted?
I didn't. I mean, every once in a while, I thought I saw like the little probe, but it's a light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one light flare on there.
That's all I've
the
seen.
this is a full upgrade. So we had like this big bulbous looking
Okay.
light on there, and it was causing all like 6 or 5 of those at a time.
Okay.
It was such bullshit. So I took
Okay.
it off of there, and I was like, we got to get something. I'm even thinking about putting a second one on top of this because you can mount it,
Yeah.
and crisscrossing them this way to try to really get rid of it.
Okay.
So that way the whole thing is lit up, but you don't have that little diamond that shows around
Yeah.
and follows you with the camera.
But yeah, I don't know what we'll have to see when you upload because I
I'm
don't think
sure.
I've seen anything.
So the first, I think it was the second night we were using the new upgrade, I was so stoked. We actually had something, one of the best orbs I've ever caught, come up.
Because that's what I wanted to see was like
Orb.
Yeah, he
When I
said
see-
he just updated this, but it's like you still can kind of see it. I was like, oh, there's an orb in there, and he's like, no, it's white.
So this is right over there by the wall,
Okay,
and this happened. What the hell is that?
there's some nakedness.
See that? Stupid
Remember
Facebook
I
watch.
had her naked?
You did hear
You
naked.
did hear naked.
So you're going to be watching right over here. It's slowed down.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I
Holy
see it.
crap.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What are y'all seeing? The orb, because I kept saying, I think I see a little orb, but he's like, yeah, no, it's a light. Watch over here, it's right here, this wall. So they just upgraded this just a couple of nights ago.
Well, a couple of months ago
Months
on that
ago.
one.
Oh, there it
There it
goes.
goes.
But that was the second night we were using the new camera.
Oh, wow.
So again, it's
He says right here.
right there at the wall.
What it was.
It's basically a ball of energy.
Ah.
So in this one, because it stops where I'm
Going.
at and moves, you can see that it's intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, wow.
and I have a whole set of criteria of did it come up, like that I follow to see if it's an actual orb
Oh,
or if
there's
it's
something.
Sorry,
no,
it's
she
because I
pressure.
hit you.
Yeah.
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 But it is one of those things where you just want to
It is pretty crazy.
apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman.
In
right
Alexandria, we
right?
saw stuff.
And don't miss the baby.
He showed us the guy at the tour. He
This is
showed
probably
us
another
something
instance where the baby's buried with
like a
mom.
few
There's no record of the baby's
things
birth
that
or
popped
death.
up in the churchyard.
So, full picture. You could see where like this would be a weird anomaly. So, woman praying over her own grave with the baby basket next to her.
Oh yeah, see it.
It's weird when we came through this way. I heard
Don't look.
welcome to the family.
Why is it
Hmm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can see.
Remind
The,
me to write that one down. So
See
again,
it?
the baby basket is what really clarifies it for people.
I don't see it.
You know, so this is a woman. You're looking at her back.
Oh,
so
the
top of her
back.
head. So she is
Okay.
praying like you're looking at her praying over her
Oh,
own
okay,
grave.
yeah.
So
And where's the basket?
right here,
right there, you can see the
Oh,
baby
right
to her
here.
right.
Yeah.
So full picture. Apparition is here. Now normally, if you type in like apparitions or ghost
Mosquito
haunting
bites.
pictures, that kind of thing, like this would normally show up in like the top 50 list. Like that's why every ghost list.
I got
took
mosquito
that
bites on
picture?
my.
I
I got a
don't
mosquito
remember
bite
his
here.
name. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, it's
Mosquito
fine.
bites
I
here
should
and
know.
here. Here.
You're getting bit?
Yeah, I'm getting bit
I
mosquito
usually always
bites.
get
I am
bit.
too on my thumb.
Yeah, I just got bit here and right here,
Yeah.
right here in this area.
Finally, you got something out of yours. Really
What happened, and what happened to your? What happened to hers?
We got a welcome to the family and movie, so remind me to kind of write those down. All right, so let's get into a pirate reveal.
I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, so I'm walking
Get
around.
a little animated. So, big finale, everybody. You ready? Pirates. We're going to be discussing the little tiny building over there with the crosses on it.
Yes.
Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts? They're basically turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can turn those turnbuckles and it's supposed to prevent the building from any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So, the reason I bring them up is because it's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charles can put in because it's the oldest in the world. It's the oldest government building in South Carolina, which is why we're here. This is what I call a familiar ghost. We talk about intelligent ghosts, we talk about residual ghosts. This is a familiar. This is the same principle of using a toy to attract a child ghost. We don't have any buildings this old, and it's also definitely one of, how do I put this, where we're actually allowed to go. So again, this is why it's a hit or miss location. So here's how the story goes. It starts right in the middle of this building's construction. This is a government building that took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? 10 years small building? No, not at all. Follow me, there's a lot of twists, and I will slow down on the twists so everybody grasps them. So, 1708, a young lady moves here, Anne Cormack. She comes here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress turns out to be Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far?
Oh, wow. Okay.
You want to do that one again? Okay, you got it? Yeah, it's going to get real juicy. Better grab some handles because this one's a doozy. Now, the three of them are running away from his father's angry wife. You guys got that? They're leaving Ireland to come here to get away from his pissed off. Yeah, this one wife. No, not the mother. His wife. The mother is his mistress. That's why I slowed down on that part. There's 4 people involved. All right, so they land in Georgetown, just north of here between Kristen and Middleton. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. Then he takes to send young Anne down here to Charleston to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat, which is why we came. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was like 7, 8, 9 years old, and the pirate lord, we don't have an exact number, with a knife to the belly. So we did have the word stomach earlier, but again, we were back at the Pinky Mansion site, so too far away. So again, it was kind of weird because you'll have another name in there that's going to come up and it's going to make sense. Back to the story. We're going to fast forward. 1713 is when this building is finished. By 1715, pirates are coming to town and Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love because she's got to have her freedom just like a man. You have to remember the time, everybody. So, guy number 1. Yes, I said guy number 1 because there's a handful. We're going to go through them. It gets real juicy. You ready? Now, guy number 1 is James Bonney. You already kind of see where this one's going.
Yes.
Yep, James Bonney. Dad's in the first because she's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica.
Gotta
get
pee
married,
so
and
bad.
Cormac is now
I think
William
there's a
Bonney,
bathroom.
the famous female pirate.
Oh, okay.
Now, this guy is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was
Thinking about
because every young lady
maybe
wants
a
a
homeless
Captain Jack
person
Sparrow.
there.
So, I said that one night, and teenagers were like, "Who's Captain Jack Sparrow?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh my God, Johnny!
Yeah, Johnny. I know, damn teenagers. They don't know what a bear is. They don't know what Kodak is. Like, they can't figure it out. So, this guy's a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward in her eyes. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, but his nickname, he went by Calico Jack. This is literally the person they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character on. So I see the Captain Jack Sparrow? Absolutely. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Well, we're not getting that juicy.
It's dangerous.
They're bad luck.
Bad luck. You don't have a woman on the ship. Yeah, it's bad
a
luck.
family tour, Margaret. Keep it
I love it.
It was dangerous for her.
It was dangerous for her.
I'm gonna
But
pee though.
they're bad luck. So Jack makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you could be part of the crew. Which means you're going to hide your gender, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, let's go. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant, and you can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and that Jack let her on. Yeah, so he drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show and tells her, these are friends of mine, they'll help you out, have the baby here and come back later, we'll figure it out together. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. No amount of research has given me any clue whatsoever. But she's also dressed like a female, which is what makes this part of the story very interesting. So she goes back to the crew and dressed like a girl. This makes Jack pretty angry. And he captured another pirate crew while she was gone, giving birth to his child. So, in a nutshell, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he captured to make him even more mad, because that's who Anne is. Now, we're on guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females on the same ship trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So again, she had to come up with a fake name. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They want their ship back. So they send a fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. Probably because they don't know how to use the cannon jet because they haven't been pirates for very long. Now, 2 ladies are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships, right? So as they're being arrested, because they did get taken, she looks at her captain, Verbeau, and she says, you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here a lot, just so you guys know, among your spirit boxes. The judge, he wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own, because he's already tried it on Calico Jack and the Drunken Pirates. They're dead about 2 days prior. Anne and Mary go in and reveal their gender to the judge.
So in the other area, I had this orb that was in that called that one of the alleyways? An orb, yeah, like it was an orb, but I think it was some kind of light thing, but I couldn't tell. It kind of followed and stuff on one side, but it was gone on the other side.
Here in South Carolina with all of his
It's
Irish
not
money.
on
And he goes up and brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2. But guy number 4, we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 80. We don't really know much about her after the time. We're there on 30, 34. As far as Mary Reed goes, she dies a year later in 1721 from whatever pirates died from in Jamaican jail. Most books and articles will tell you that it was fever. I'll call BS on that one. It was probably very scurvious and nasty and gross. Use your imagination, make it romantic. You can ask whatever questions you want to here, but I do have 2 that you can at least get started with. The 2 questions are the names of Anne Barney's parents. I left them out on purpose. I will tell you, you had the name William show up, right? Yeah, the father's name was William. We're going to go with that. We're trying to find out what the mother's name is. Remember, that's the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jackson's ship. So, that one doesn't really show up all the time, but when it does, it's pretty clear. So, again, very odd term. Before we actually spread out a little bit, I'm going to tell you another reason why I gave the heated warning at the top of the book. Then I'll tell you where we're actually going to be able to go. We're going to spread out a little bit further than what we did before. A year ago, September, I actually had brought my tour back here, and the kid next to me goes white as a ghost. Like he's about to drop like a wet noodle. And I have to pick him up by his armpit, like literally. Scoop him up before he hits his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, and we get him over to that brick wall, which is where we're all going to be ending, by the way. He sits down, we get him a bottle of water, he's feeling better. You get the point. I then tell them the story I just told you. I spread everybody out to go, play with their devices on our last stop, and they pull me aside and say, Nick, we are 2 transgender males. Meaning I had 2 females, dressed like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on my tour. It made complete sense to the entire group at that point as to why one of them felt faint the minute we passed it, that we actually got in here. So I didn't even tell the story yet, and this kid was dropping to the ground. It was a nice, cool night like this. It wasn't overdressed. And when I say kid, I'm talking like lower 20s. So it's amazing. But again, it's one of those things where psychics and mediums, they don't normally make it past the Pinckney Mansion site. I told you about the high EMS we get over there, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to call the paramedics, and all of a sudden they're revealing to me like that they're a psychic and they felt something strong, and we had this crazy EMF spike out of that location, close to triple digits, so 80s, 90s, 100s.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Again, it's one of those things where it's not that it's a preamp that I need to know, but it would be nice to know when psychics and mediums show up to the tour, just because I like to kind of keep an eye on them. And most of them, I do get a lot, I test them. So when they do reveal it to me, I test them all night long. Most of them are pretty bogus. So I'm just going to put it out there.
Bogus.
Very bogus.
Yeah.
There's
There
very
has to be the few
I keep a
that are
pretty
really...
tight circle of friends that are psychics and mediums, and there's not many in that tight circle. I'll put it that way.
I'm sure it's far and few between if there is,
Again,
if
I'm
you
sure you
believe
guys
in
picked
that.
up all night long that I'm very honest with you. And that, everything we're doing out here tonight, only 40% hook up. So, again, there's a lot that goes on with that location if it's going to be there. So, again, we're going to stay out of the way of the other tours just because it is a very big ghost toury stop. So, again, I'm not sure if that was one of the neighbors coming through, so we're going to move on.
Okay. What about the story of, is this the alley you got banned from?
No. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that the next case, just because of I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, okay.
And again, some of these guys that live at the edge of the alley, they get pretty angry that this is part of the tourism area. So we're just going to move on.
Okay. They get protective.
Very.
Should we turn in this also?
He's so cute. He's so excited.
That was so funny. He said,
We still go trickling.
right there's that magnolia place.
I see you. The ghost sees you. What is he doing? Look at what is she doing?
Get it, girl.
You get it, girl. She just did something.
We live in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not from there.
Very different. Yeah, it's around an hour. Yeah, the snow, the weather is a lot.
Hey, Philip Church. That's where we were earlier. It's haunted here. See, Alexandria has all this kind of stuff, and they have George Washington's church there, and there's some crazy shit. Bloody Mary, I do too. Bloody Mary was invented supposedly in Alexandria.
I remember
By Mary.
Bloody Mary. You go look in the
Good
mirror
and
and see
see.
her.
Oh my God, we were so scared. But supposedly there was a lady there.
I just heard Holy Spirit.
Oh, you did? Do your thing? We're right here. We're by the church. You just heard Holy Spirit? What the fuck?
I want to go through the
She just heard Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit. We start getting the religious terms over here because of the church. I'm not surprised. That's normally what goes on here. All right, circle in, everybody. We got a lot to cover in this location. First off, everybody wants to know how I got booted out of that other alley. Let's start with that.
Tell us.
Now, the half that we were standing on, I told you that that part of the alley was cut off at one point. The reason why is because that's where they kept the livestock. So I used to take my team all the way through it because the bricks on the other side, where it's residential, those bricks are on the ground are older than the side that we were standing on, which means they're sun-dried bricks from slave children. So
Yeah, we saw the handprint.
Right.
We saw the
So
handprint.
I would always point that out, and I would take my groups down there, so that way we weren't using earbuds yet, so it was a matter of spirit boxes off. We were using the voice recorder at this point and trying to capture the whistles, but I would always point out those handprints and the fingerprint swipes because again, everybody needs to see it. I don't care about the diversity of my group. We all need to see how far we've come away from slavery. So one night, November 26th of 2020.
You'll never forget it.
2020.
My entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, trying to get a reading out of it. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. The kid's not staring at that damn brick in the afterlife. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. However, they're all around it, trying to get a reading from a spirit box, EMF detectors, you name it. They're all trying to do something. I'm trying to scurry them along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley.
Oh.
Well, that guy wasn't real happy with us hanging out there because most of my groups did that. And I was still new at this, and I was still learning my bounds, and I was definitely out of bounds. So where we're actually allowed to go. So he come out screaming. I think she was 12, 13 years old daughter was, laughing hysterically because dad's getting yelled at. She was tickled pink.
She thought it's funny.
Yeah, she found it hysterical. So we moved on, and I finished off the tour. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour because I worked in retail management most of those years for Walmart. So, yeah, many years at Walmart. You can all understand why I'll never work another Thanksgiving for as long as I live.
Right.
So, I didn't have a tour. The next day was November 28th of 2020. I got a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what tours are allowed to do, or to reroute my group. I tell my group that I'm going to take them up here where we're standing, but I didn't believe in the story because I didn't have much evidence that came out of the location, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So they were kind of like, yeah, okay. Well, I was like, we're going to wing it and see what happens. I'm going to tell you what I do know. I had to do some quick research that day. You're getting the point. We get down, well, before we left that area, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. So I was like, oh shit. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, okay, maybe something's going to happen. We get down here. I told a little bit of piracy stuff that I did know about down this location. And then somebody hears the number 300. And I have no idea what the hell that means until I'm doing the research the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. Oh, we were here on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate cruise.
Oh my
Wow.
I read more books on freaking pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life. Again, trying to piece together a factual investigation based on pirate lore. So everything we're about to discuss has been based off of at least 2 resources minimum. So again, I did a lot of research, and I'm still learning more. You're going to find, once I'm done with the story, which I don't know who the heck these people are sitting in their truck, by the way. We're going to be very careful around that. I'm not going to give you a lot of questions like what we did over at the Pinckney Mansion, because you're going to be able to ask whatever the hell you want to here. Because again, I'm still learning more about it because it's pirates. So it might be able to be proven based on one version of a story, or maybe not by another. But did you guys all notice, we're going to move on from pirates for just a moment. You know, Anthony actually noticed that there is a lot of tours around here. Did you guys all notice the tours across the street?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so every ghost tour goes over there. It's kind of their big finale, and I let them have it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I let them have it. It's their one show and tell. You guys have crazy gear in your hands that you're never going to see again unless you're watching it on TV.
No.
Now, the reason why they're all over there, first off, I'd like to point out that there's two different sides to the cemetery. Behind me is the western side of the cemetery, and the other side, what they're standing on, is the eastern side. The eastern side is, if you're a native Charlestonian, you can be buried on that side.
Yeah.
If you're not, you come over here. Now, your 7th Vice President, John Calhoun, is buried on the other side of this wall behind me. He's not from here. He just lived here a long time. But they're all over there because there's a sign right inside the gate that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
We saw that on our tour, yes.
Yeah.
So you have the sign right already basically telling me I got to tell this damn story. So the reason why that sign is there is because in 1888 a young lady died in, her name was Sue Howard Hardy. That's why I was like, when you said SS something, I was kind of like, wait a minute, is that the initials already? We do get Sue Howard Hardy's initials over here a lot before we had the Ouija board. SHH. It's cheesy, it's campy, I hate even telling you, but we do get it all the time. And if I call her Susan, she will correct me on a spirit box and say Sue. So again, I make sure, and it's a pretty angry Sue. Like, don't call me Susan. Yes.
Have you seen anything yet over there?
I got SS again.
SS again.
And HH.
Oh!
No, they're not together.
Interesting. Yes, exactly. Shh. SHH. That's what we're looking for. So, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very abrupt ending. However, in 1987, a local photographer is taking pictures of all of our cemeteries, and he's piecing a book together, and he captures a full apparition in one of his photographs. Now, for guys like me, this picture is gold, but it's 1987, and this guy has no tech to be able to debunk or prove anything that's going on in this photograph. So he sends it to Kodak. I don't think I have to explain what the hell Kodak is. By the way, teenagers, just so you know, if I say that, they
probably have no idea. Yeah. I have no clue. Well, Kristen might not know.
I know what that is.
I barely.
Kodak,
I do.
the only
I
thing
had
that they
Kodak
can do is
camera.
authenticate the picture that was taken from the type of camera that he claimed that it came out of, and that it was not tampered with. So again, the weird thing about this photograph is that every ghost tour shows the photo, but they don't tell you that it is cursed to females. We have a group of 9 females in this group tonight.
Uh-oh.
Any female that handles it, even in a digital format, like a tablet or a cell phone, is said to have the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning. So the headache, the nausea, the dizziness.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant females are probably not going to have a good gist of a pregnancy based on the baby from the story. So here's what I do. I show you the photograph, but I ask you, don't touch my damn tablet. What normally happens is I get some honeymooners on here, and I'm not going to be the one that cursed their family 9 months later. So keep that in mind. I'm going to go 2 by 2 so everybody can kind of see the photograph, and then we're going to go into our pirate deal. So, you don't want to see it? Okay, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, because it's hiding up all my dryness from all my drinking. 250, this guy, I'll have to look in the, you guys will be like, oh, and he's kind of cheesy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what are we going to see?
Can we go down this way?
We did. This is Philadelphia. Is this Philadelphia Alley?
Yes.
No. Is this Philadelphia Alley?
Yeah,
It is. We came down this for a culinary tour. Yes. Philadelphia Alley. This is what it's called.
So it was named Philadelphia Alley after dueling became illegal and stupid.
Right.
So we
So
named
we
it
were
after a
gonna come
city
here.
that helped us out of one of our many fires. So to give you a brief history of life in Philadelphia Alley. Just look like it's a much smaller group because you guys are spread out. So, Jamie, we gotta get you leaning.
Come on, Jamie.
She's like leaned up, like I'm waiting for her to not lean off.
She's
Come on.
listening.
She is. She's
I'm
focused.
She is focused.
I'm intent on my job.
Good.
Super focused.
So this used to be called Dueler's Alley. So if you didn't already hear, did you guys hear this in your car?
Yes, we did.
Here's what I'm going to
Yeah,
tell you.
culinary tour, yeah.
This is a staple for pretty much every tour in town. However, we're ghost hunting. You're going to get a lot of different details out of me because I did not cue that, by the way.
It's coming.
That's an air conditioner.
It's hopefully a
And it's
rattle.
blowing us up.
Sound like an air conditioner.
It is.
Awful noise.
Different details here because you're going to need those different details for all of your spirit boxes. There's a lot of keywords, and key phrases that you'll be listening and watching out for. Specifically with yours, I want you looking for the initials RI. And we're going to go through that here in just a moment. Here's how the story goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. There's our first RI reference. Okay? So, Rhode Island. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just, by the way, the doctor's name was Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. I'm sorry, I did not give you that. Now, the attorney thinks Dr. Ladd's just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of this doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. And as he's coming into town, a coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start. Somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs, R.I. Those are two different clues to two different characters. That's why we need the secondary clue to verify the RI. Even before we had the Ouija board, the RI was showing up on spirit boxes. It was the weirdest thing I had ever seen ever. So it was kind of like, all right, let's get the verifier. It's actually part of the reason why I bought the Ouija board was so we could start getting initials, especially out of this location. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here, dude. I know this coachman. He's going to try to rob and kill you. He's got a gunman inside. You could stay with friends of mine at 59 Church Street, and you can rent a room from them. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer, and him and Ralph become friends. The longer the doctor's staying here, the more money he's making. So he's proving his point that he's not just after Amanda's money. He becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time. It's the late 1700s. That's what men did, apparently, when they were happy. So I don't whistle. But at any rate, now, with that being said, him and Ralph go and they go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. It's just kind of the hierarchy of Charleston. They talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're talking about the new actress that was here. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. They start arguing, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly, and they go their separate ways. But I told you Ralph has a lot of friends here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Yeah, kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality, so kind of put that in the back of your brains. The doctor sees the ad, he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley, and we're going to settle this shit once and for all. He didn't say settle this shit because it's 1786. Now, did you get my point?
Yeah.
They come down here, they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. However, Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor didn't die either, but Ralph proved his point that he's pissed off still. Now, Dr. Ladd drops to the ground, his friends pick him up and carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember that this guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out this bullet himself. So, they say, as you walk through this alley, normally it's very quiet besides the very noisy air conditioner, that you can hear the whistles from the doctor. They also say you can hear the gunshots from the different duels that occurred here. Now, this was kind of like a hidden dueling area, but we all tell this story because we can actually prove that it occurred. However, when I tell you about you can hear the whistles from the doctor, I'm already running your voice recorder for you. So if you're going to listen to your regular audio, this is the point where you're going to be listening for very faint whistles in the background. If you're going to try this on your own without a tour guide, because we can't take you all the way down to the end, turn on your voice recorders on your phone, listen to it later, but keep in mind every local knows this damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We end over there, my garage is over there, so I have to pass the alley every night when we're done. And when my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So it's just a little game we play, especially if there's another tour down here. It's not cute because she's 16 and she still thinks that she's better than me at everything. Because that's what little 16-year-old girls do. So,
I wish
that's
she
my
was on the
youngest.
tour with us.
Now, well, she's got a play coming up, so she's at rehearsal. She's a big theater kid. She's the costume designer. She's not on stage, like she's backstage. Like that's what she is. Yeah, she's a short little shit. She looks like she's 11. So she's back there making costumes. But anyway.
Love it.
Love
seriously,
it.
all day long. Yep.
That's what it
Is
says.
that what
I know.
it said?
I got it.
Now, as you're talking, this thing is flashing white. So we're talking about the door, and then all of a sudden on the white light, everything went white, and then it comes back up to red.
Was your, I guess the first question was
Pointing it straight there.
your finger in the way?
Nope. It's doing it again. It was just put it here, and then all of a sudden it goes white.
I saw it. It went completely white,
But
like a gunshot made it white. Of course, now it won't do it.
Now it won't do it, of course.
it comes to the middle, and then it went white. And I mean like a flashlight.
Well, definitely something for me to look out for. Definitely be.
It did it about 4 times.
Okay. Well, I've seen that actually occur at the next location we're going to, which is
There,
why
it just did it again.
I just saw it.
Oh,
You see that?
I saw it.
Oh.
That black shadow comes across to the middle, and then it went flash white.
Well, here's. You guys want to know what this gate is behind me and why I stopped here? In the event there was a loser to a duel, meaning a dead guy, this was the shortcut to get to St. Philip Cemetery. Reason being is because this alley didn't come all the way through. It actually stopped not too far this way. Otherwise, if there was a loser, if this wasn't here, they'd have to go all the way down to the edge of the alley and go around the corner to get to St. Philip's Cemetery. That's a pretty long haul when you got dead weight. You know, so kind of keep in mind, like this wrought iron gate wasn't here, it was just a doorway. It was a shortcut. This is a courtyard that's owned by St. Philip's Church, and then they obviously had access to get to the cemetery. Keep that in mind as I kind of go through the rest of this. You got more going on?
It's all white.
Holy cow.
Yeah, there's
You
some
see
white
that?
there.
The thing in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
On the
I see it.
See the left thing? Oh, and then it goes back to red.
Now you were just like an inch to the right. So move your hand again to the right. Got something in view right there in the top right hand corner.
It's dead
Yeah,
center in
look,
the
you
middle
can
of the
see
gate.
it. Mm-hmm.
Because there's the gate.
Yeah.
See it. Try not to move to influence anything. It'll be on your video. You can watch it nice and big. I love how you all get quiet when something happens.
We're all like, what's going on?
Yes, it's right there.
Yup.
Yeah.
And every time that goes to the middle where the, see where your pointer is, that white thing, that's when it flashes white.
Interesting.
It's like
Every time,
Oh,
every
you
time
said it
it's
was a
done.
loop.
Yeah. No, that's the last alley.
Oh, that's the
This
last
is an
alley.
intelligent
Oh, there it goes again.
Whoa.
Oh, it did. Look,
See it?
it's different.
I'm not moving.
It was yellow, white, and now it's
And see
getting
that-
darker
that-
again.
There it
So
goes.
what's interesting about heat anomalies, because the white is going to be hot, it's not a cold spot. So the interesting thing about heat is that temperature fluctuates. It's not created. So if something is white hot on here, that means that there's a cold spot nearby. I don't want him to actually move his camera, because that's just as good a evidence as finding a cold spot in the shape of a person. So if you see something grow in heat in a rather quick motion, we're going to let this gentleman pass through. Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. See, now there's the 2 cold spots, which would be the opening. And that's coming from here to here, and that's the opening on the other side of the head.
Drunk. I think he's drunk.
He's a little
He's
wobbly.
drunk.
He's a
He's
little
drunk.
weedy.
He's walking, leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him.
That's exactly.
Busted, buddy. Busted on camera.
So say if he disappears
Cheaters.
before he leaves.
What's hers?
Alright, so, because I'm not sure if that was one of the neighbors or not,
I don't
we're actually
know.
going to move forward.
Okay.
I thought I saw a
I'll tell you
blob
how I
over there,
got
but it
out
was
of
the
here at
light.
next space. That'll make it a little
Okay.
bit more fun. Yeah, I know you do. Most people do. We're going to go up to the next space, but what I'm going to tell you is that the next space, like I said, is a hit or miss. It is our last stop, so we will be spreading out like what we did at the Pinkley Mansion site and kind of going through a full investigation. But again, it is a very weird space. It's trying to piece this together out of pirate lore and trying to give you guys factual data can be very difficult. You should all be grateful I have a master's degree in creative writing. I read I don't know how many damn. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna definitely turn off your motion sensor in here, so you can button in the back. So we're not using that. The one on the right, closer to the edge. There you go. You're good. Okay. All right. So welcome to Lodge Alley. Where the heck are we? when we crossed that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, right about where that girl apologized for the sink puking, I don't know if you all heard that.
No, I didn't see that.
It's going to be on your
I missed
audio,
that,
by the way.
damn. I missed it.
There was a girl walking by apologizing to her girlfriends that she puked in the sink. So she must be having a great night. But at any rate, right around that area, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. It went up Cumberland, and it was across the street from us on East Bay going down towards the Battery. So you're standing on one of the first streets we ever had, which is why it's so hard on your feet.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm asking you all for names or any kind of like weird initials and things like that SS, it might actually be relevant. I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to write it down just because it's very specific and it is very weird, and it makes sense in this location. But I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. Now the weird thing is that every 6 to 7 weeks, you guys tell me the exact same names. Those names are Benjamin and John. We had a Ben Franklin and a John show up already tonight, way back at the Pinky Mansion site. So I don't feel like it's relevant to this location. So again, that's why I was like, it's very weird that we heard the name Ben Franklin. Again, Ben, yeah, it's a common name, but it's not a name you hear on the radio all the time. So it's very interesting. Now, the weird thing about Benjamin and John, they both lived here at the same time, 1801. When I say people lived here, I'm talking like 2 to 5 people at a time. This wasn't like a crazy metropolis, suburban street or anything. Like this was a couple of shotgun houses down here. That's it. So Ben and John, basically 2 out of 5 people that lived here.
Yeah.
John likes
Then
to give
when
us
I go
his
this
last
way,
name.
yeah, it might be the light because I don't see it over here.
We get his last name, his first name, yes, and we'll get the name Ben, all in the same evening, about every 6 to 7 weeks. Now, we're in week 2 of that loop. That's why I wasn't really expecting an interview with you, Benjamin or John, but I never know. Here's why this is happening. The bricks you're standing on, that are so hard on our feet, they've been here since 1739 that we know of. That's a guesstimate. Now, they're Belgian blocks, which means they're made out of granite. We're dealing with the stone tape theory here. Here's how this goes. In a nutshell, any natural stone, rock, earth that's been in the same exact place for a long period of time, say a few hundred years, is said to hang on to the memories of the things that occurred here, which is why we're getting the same names over again on a loop. What I've counted before is about a 6 to 7 week long period. Now the other weird thing about this location is that the bricks made out of granite itself is not supposed to hold an electrical charge. So Kristen's going to literally set her device on the ground, and we're going to see if we get anything out of it more than a 1.1, which is what I would expect because the ground gives off a natural 1.1. So pick a brick and set it down. Give up. No, just the numbers. This is all about the numbers. So you can choose any brick. Again, not staged. One of those pieces you choose whatever one you want, and we're going to move it around. Let me know what you get out of it. So while she's doing her job over there, the other reason why we like to come down here is because the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge down here, which is where the name Lodge Alley comes from. Here's what goes on with that. Do you have any numbers? Yeah, well, another brick. We'll do 2. If you don't get anything out of the second one, so obviously we're way
How
out.
much of that has to do with the quartz content?
There is no quartz content in the bricks. It's just granite.
Just granite, there's no mixture.
And I dove into that just to make sure because there is a lot going on with Belgian blocks from the 1700s.
Right.
So again, there could be some of that, but there are times where we pick a brick and it goes all the way up 15 years. Again, that's a high spike for this specific location.
Ooh, 2.2. What was this?
We're on Watch It Grow. We're at 4.8. We'll see if it goes any higher.
4.9. All right. 5.
Growing, which is very weird.
5.
Stopped at 5.
Stopped at 5.
Stopped at 5.
Yeah.
Now it's going down.
4, 9 to 5.
Oh, wow.
So again, I'll mark down the 5. Again, it's not like super exciting like a 15 minute only 5, but at least we have something going on. Which means there might be something going on with one of your devices. It's also staying pretty steady.
It is.
So, and it's in between 2 buildings, so it's not going to be coming from anything inside the buildings. Which is why we set it on the ground. Not to mention you got close to the building, you got absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So it's good that you measured it over there. As far as back to the Freemason bit, a lot of times, well, not a lot, but randomly, you guys will hear the term Illuminati as we're coming into the alley. Here's the weird thing. We only hear it in this space, and it comes through usually on a radio station. who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on a radio station? That's my first question. And why have we only heard it in this space? We heard it 6 times last year alone. So far this year it's been 3 times. So not as many as last year, but again, it has happened, and I verified every single one of them because it is a weird term to hear on the radio, and nobody knew anything about the Freemasons being here before that actually occurred. We will get other things wrapped around the Freemasons, like founding fathers. We had founding father show up here last night. So that was kind of a thing. We'll get symbols. I have no idea. I did not go that far because I wasn't going to go into conspiracy theories at the time. It's just a matter of like, we will get relevant terms to that. It says bank. Does it say banker? Interesting. And now I got to dive into it. Thanks, Margaret. Extra homework for me.
It says men and banker.
Go, Margaret.
All right, so go ahead and pick up your device. I think we're going to get anything higher than that. It seems to be steady around 4, 7 to 5. So I'll definitely mark those down. But again, this is a weird space. We don't get a ton here, but it does kind of give you the layout of the land for Charleston a little bit with that extra Charlestown walls. Now, we're going to go to another alley from here, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I cannot take you all the way through it like what we're doing with this one because I've been kicked out. It's just one of those pieces. It's a normal staple for a ghost tour of Charleston, but I'm the guy who got caught in the wrong part of the alley, so I'm very careful when we go into that alley. And yes, I will tell you how I got kicked out of it because it is definitely relevant to our last space. It's a weird story, but again, the next place we're going to, we might start to see those other larger groups of 20. We're just going to stay out of their way and do our own thing. And again, we're not going to be able to, how do I put this? We're going to be there longer than what we're doing here, but we're not going to spread out and start investigating. So as we exit the alley, both video cameras will stop your videos because we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get to that next alley. We don't record houses, just like we don't record cars. When we get into the alley, if there's other groups there, you just won't record the other groups. Those people did not pay tickets to get filmed. So you all did. That's kind of how this works. Again, just kind of be very respectful to the other parties because, again, I don't have a whole lot of friends in this industry. I'm sure you guys can imagine why. I'm the weird guy in town, which means you guys are all weirdos too. So good job. So this is a very fun group, by the way. So love all the laughter coming through. Any other weird questions about the stone tape theory that I might be able to answer? It hasn't been fully proven just yet.
It's very interesting.
William and what was the other word that just came from? Anomalies.
Anomalies are basically any kind of supernatural something.
Yeah.
But
William is on there now.
So that's a weird one because our last stop is a weird hit or miss location. It's one of those places where we're going to have a shit ton come through or nothing at all. However, that particular spirit we're going to be talking about is said to be seen all over town. The name William is relevant to that specific story. And what was it?
Fiddle. Like kneeling with the fiddle. Playing the fiddle.
Like field.
Fiddle, as in.
Fiddle. Oh. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, I don't know who the hell's playing the fiddle. Did you get the word devil coming up on their spirit box? The devil on the fiddle?
I have the word Lucian, but I just thought I made it up.
Lucian.
I heard Lucian and it's just the channel, but I thought, well, did I just make that up or hear it? But
Well, we're going to get the hell out of this space.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
Lucian is the devil.
I mean, the fiddle.
Oh, I think it's the devil. I'm like, let's go. We don't want to be with Lucian, the angel.
Yeah, as we exit, we're going to turn about to you.
Yeah, mine is off, right?
Oh my God, be careful, Mimi. I can't see, Jack. Ooh. Jamie, I see him. He's on you. He's getting you right now. He's clobbered on you.
this is so
Devil.
stupid.
The devil's coming to get you. Oh, there is a Singleton house. Singleton. This is the last stop. This is it. Yeah. It's been fun for me. I think it's so hilarious.
I know, you love it.
But I
Did
love
someone
it.
jump to
Oh my
their
God,
death here?
Nalin
'Cause
would
might as well
Madeline
jump.
would be, oh my Nalin would be like,
Go ahead and
holy shit, I
jump.
love this fucking place. This is like the best shit ever. Or Mom, she would say shit, but she would say that.
eating this.
Oh, she like, Mom, did you hear it? Did you know? Oh my God.
She'd be loving
And then I watched Zach, and Zach told me on the Ghost Channel that this happened. Oh my God, he's totally. His name is Zach something. He's the big goot. He makes billions, I heard. Like, I even looked up his salary.
Billions?
Yeah, no, I'm not, but millions and whatever. Like, I was shocked at his salary. Like, they were like, oh, yeah, makes $250,000 an episode. This is a ghost hunter. $250,000.
Years old. It's the year 2022. I don't take any year that's being mentioned as part of evidence. It's too easy. So, not to mention, 20 was Big John's first jersey number. So, again, it's one of those pieces where anything with the year in it, I just throw it away. It's too easy.
Yeah.
The rest of those questions, as far as, you know, what we were asking, what do you have now?
It said brother and then stomach.
And stomach and impulse.
Brother and stomach. I don't know what the stomach piece is. It's very interesting.
Did she have a brother?
No, she had a sister, Polly. There were 4 children, grand total. We didn't get that number tonight, at least none of you told me. So Charles, you already know about. He was signer of the Constitution. The next child was Thomas. He fought in a Revolutionary War battle. He was shot in the left leg and captured by the British. When he was released from the British, he was left on a cane the rest of his days. Any portrait you'll find of him thereafter shows only his right side, and he's usually like crossed over, hiding his left leg, and there's a cane going across his lap. So we will get terms relative to Thomas that say cane, limp, anything relative to a bad leg. We've even had the word Camden show up along with his name in the same evening. So very interesting, because Camden is like 3 hours from here, 2.5 hours from here. So it kind of gives you an idea of like how weird of things we actually get. The next child is the one I asked you guys not to poke the bear with. This is baby George. Baby George, you can see where this one's going, right, baby?
Yeah.
He didn't make it. It's June of 1747. His death certificate has the same month and year in the birth and death column, so we don't know if he was days old or weeks old. So I'm going to guess he was at least a few weeks old, because you wouldn't have been named until you were christened, which you're not going to get that right out of the womb. The other weird thing is that he does not have a headstone or a grave. It is a great possibility that they mummified this child and kept him right here in the home, waiting for his mother to pass away so he could be buried with her.
Oh, wow.
It's going to get even more weird when we talk about Eliza's death. So, one more child though. Her name was Harriet. She married Daniel Ory. Myrtle Beach is Ory County. That should kind of give you an idea of where she lived at. So, it wouldn't have been a 2.5-hour car ride for Eliza. Lots of letter writing. There's no cars in the 1700s. So, we get terms with Harriet that kind of go with like ink, paper, quill, anything relative to letter writing. And the word published will show up quite a bit with her name as well, because all those letters were published in the letter book of Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So it's a very fascinating read if you're into that part of history. Now, Eliza's death. This is where things get a little fun. Eliza was 70 years old when she passed away in 1793. It's a long time for a woman to be living during colonial times. I'll point that out first off. But we also heard the number 75, did we not? Now, the interesting thing about the number 75 is because your guys' spirit boxes are slowed down. And with yours, with the auto noise canceling, it's a matter of like, with the slow down, we might get extra words that don't mean anything. Like I mentioned, drop it like it's hot earlier. What color is the big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. We don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. We just need the color red for the answer. So when you hear 75, you still have to get 70 out of 75 to say it. So again, if it may have been cut off, again, I'm not going to take it. It's a very big stretch. But again, that's what I'm looking for when I'm like going through the regular recordings in the morning. Back to her death. She was going to Philadelphia getting treatment for whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what the hell breast cancer was in 1793, at least not completely yet. So with that said, we're going based off her medical records. So again, doctors today, 9 out of 10 credible sites will tell you that it was breast cancer indeed. Not to mention it's October, breast cancer awareness.
Right.
So it actually just jogged my memory this morning. I came across a feed, I'm like, shit, I haven't said that all month long. But she died in Philadelphia, she's buried in Philadelphia. That should raise 2 questions in the back of your brain. If she's up there, what the hell are we doing down here?
Right.
I don't take you to actual cemeteries. Reason being is you don't get a whole lot of activity there. None of you are going to hang out near your grave when you're gone. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away, which is exactly why I love coming to this space. So that's one reason, one question in the back of your brain. Second thing is, baby George. if my theory is true, which by the way, you can't Google mummied baby and not expect a phone call from the government office of something. So again, I can't prove it. It is just one of those, you'll find it on a religious website from time to time that it was a common practice back then. If that theory is true, they would have transported baby George from this space as a mummy child, probably in a small tomb, all the way to Philadelphia so he could be buried with his mother. Again, no proof of that whatsoever, but it is a creepy thought to be taking a mummied baby all the way to Philadelphia by horse and wagon. So, again, just a creepy thought. Who wants to take a guess at who the president was that was the pallbearer at her funeral? 1793. Where's my history people?
George. No.
This is good that you guys are trying to do it by deductive reasoning. I love this. So, you are correct. It is George Washington. Now, I could see the wheels spin. Here's the funny thing is, when we got here, I told y'all I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose, subliminally putting George Washington in the back of all of your brains.
Okay.
Now, you guys try to do it by deductive reasoning by looking at the year, and I appreciate that. That's a good thing, which means the rest of you passed with a fail. Because again, none of you are subject to subliminal messaging at this point, even though I put it in the front half of your brains. So I do that at the first question, and I normally try to give that as the last question before we go out. And notice when I was giving you all of the answers, that's the only one I gave back to you. So again, I'm the wordsmith. I get one. You guys all passed. Good job. So with that said, the next space we're going to doesn't work like this one. This is an intelligent ghost. We ask questions, we get answers. Now I think we did okay in here. We have some really good readings. You have some good terms that came out of yours. Like, meaning that one's not easy to do. So I got to give you props. Like I even struggle with that one, using that one in real time. But again, this is still a little bit lighter than what I normally see. So we're going to see what I come up with in the morning. The next space is a residual ghost. It is kind of like on a loop. I'll explain more about it along the way, but here's how this is going to go. For those of you using video cameras, please stop them. We're not going to be, video. Well, you're going to stop it physically. So,
Texas State now.
My husband went to UT.
Yeah, he went there for undergrad.
This is a hot
Did you guys go to UT?
No.
No. Just your
We're all
husband?
transplants. My husband did it.
Yeah, my husband went to UT. I went to Southwest, or Texas State now.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Oh, it's in North Texas.
Yeah, North Texas. That's where my dad went, North Texas.
all right.
Didn't.
So, got a whole group.
We got some stuff going on right here. We kind of seem like right here. This is where Kristen got her pick too. Everybody's getting kind of something right here.
What did you hear on that?
I heard what?
And slave.
I heard slave, and then I heard naked.
And I said that must be the bar over here.
And then music sorta.
And is it buzzing now or no?
Yeah.
But she came over here and it was really going off. Right here, like earlier.
Anything out of yours? Very difficult to hear, isn't it? It's not an easy job.
Sometimes it gets louder
Yeah.
over here.
Well, there's so much because it's obviously
More
DJs
right here.
Yeah, and that's what you're listening
and
for.
different things. I heard Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin.
I know. I heard that. I didn't know if it was the 5 and dime. It switched off so quickly.
Watch out for the vehicles, everybody. Like it's getting very tricky in here.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what we were like. The vehicles might
No,
pick it off.
they don't.
Mom,
I don't know where he's gonna go. It's actually head towards the back a little bit.
that was that truck right there. Double wide. Double wide. I think that's a Texas saying. Double wide. Double wide. Oh my God, my mom. And then that's my niece, Kristen. She's named after me.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, she's like a hot mess.
Your sister knew
She's such a, like in a good way.
Yeah.
So
sweet though.
Yeah, and then my sister didn't get to come, but one of her daughters came. Yeah, we're close.
Y'all favor, y'all look alike.
My daughter she's 11. She's so into this.
Really?
I'm gonna have to bring her here. She is, because we did a couple of haunted tours in Alexandria. Have y'all been to Alexandria outside of DC? Oh yeah, gotta do it. Like, it's just so cute. It's really cute. They got that little homes like it is here. And then you got DC like right there. You can take the metro in.
Leanne, with yours.
I'm sorry. Would you?
Red if you're lucky, and the number 2.
Red, if you're lucky, number 3. Yeah. Did somebody ask which Eliza we're dealing with?
No, I didn't.
Forgot that part.
Which Eliza are we dealing with here?
Well, the reason why I asked that is because she has number 2. So
Oh.
the second.
Oh.
Wow.
You did say 1 or 2? I said
11 75 or something like that.
I think that's
75.
I think it's
I feel like I heard the name John a minute ago.
Mimi's heard some random stuff, but I'm thinking
Might be
something with
coming
the
out.
radio.
Very interesting on the 75 as well. So Jill, still nothing out of yours? Do you have volume? Do you can you hear the radio station sweeping through?
But it's very garbly.
Yeah. Again, it's
Nothing
not
really
easy.
clear. Yeah.
We might have to kind of adjust it a little bit.
Okay.
Leanne, with yours, remember you said something you're only hearing radio stations. Remember, that's what you're listening for.
Right.
So just to make sure, if you hear the song "Drop It Like It's Hot," I want to know that you're gonna drop it like it's hot. So that's kind of the mentality of those spirit boxes. We have any other letters showing up on yours? No. P-O-T, so pot.
Pot.
He likes to smoke pot.
Oh, he likes to pee in the pot.
Well, we did get the name Ben Franklin. So
What?
isn't there an association with marijuana and Ben Franklin somewhere?
Instead of tobacco or some of the phone.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, no idea. And I've done the Alexandria tours and Philly. We used to live in Philly.
Any other
My husband's
crazy
job.
phrases or anything popping up out of your devices? Any other numbers showing up for you?
Not heard any
Okay.
of that.
All right, let's pull this back to the back again. I want to piece all of this together. We have a couple of clues I want to kind of tell you guys about, and then we might actually have to adjust Jill's. So, kind of.
You need to start performing.
Yeah, come on, Jill.
Come on.
Come on, Jill. They live in Austin. They're from Austin, Texas.
So the first thing I like to do is kind of explain the EMF. So mute it, please. That's the only button. You'll find it. You got it. Nope, you didn't find it. You got to click it. There you go. So I like to explain the devices that Sarah and Kristen have. So again, it's measuring electricity in the air. So we're in a space where there's no electricity, but I like to give you kind of a point of reference so you kind of know what we're dealing with here. If you were to put Kristen's device behind your television set, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. So that kind of gives you a good gist. If you're standing next to a running microwave on high, it's going to read about 150 to 170 milligauss. So kind of keep that perspective. She got all the way to a 28. That's close to what's behind your television in a space where there's no electricity. So we had a pretty steady 10 to 15 coming out of Sarah's. So again, that kind of lines up with what you were finding earlier. We had a couple of 7s and 10s and a 13 back here, but she got all the way to 28. Now, the highest I've ever seen Kristen's device go has been in this space. It was at 214 milligauss. It's almost like putting your head inside the running microwave. I will tell you, we left. It is one of those pieces where I actually have epilepsy, and I don't play around with electricity in the air with a neurological disorder. So we left.
Yeah,
We got the hell out of
definitely,
Dodge.
yeah.
So again, that's part of the reason why I give that heated warning at the beginning. You guys don't need your tour guide on the ground calling the paramedics. So yeah, that's why we left, and we talked about the space later on. So that's kind of why I like to talk about those. We did get the name Ben Franklin, which is very interesting, and I don't know if there's a full tie here or if it's actually we'll talk about that later on. But it's very interesting indeed. Yeah. We had another phrase that came up out of yours. What was it again that I said might be?
She said, I am.
Something protective, right?
Oh, protect grace.
Protect grace. I said something before that. Yeah, this is part of the reason why we're kind of wrapping this up. Is because people are starting parking here and they're like, what the hell are these people doing? So, by the way, kudos to Miss Mimi and Jamie. I didn't know if you were going to actually get something out of that. You said you were kind of like, yeah, what's going on with this? So you did get the name John, so I'm excited about that. We're still near Big John's. We have some bleed over. She did get the color red. We're still near the Big Red Barn. So again, vague stuff, but we still have it. It is one of those pieces. So again, she is getting things out of it, which is a good deal. Let's kind of go through the answers a little bit. First thing, whenever I break out the tablet, you don't need to huddle around me. I will always go around the whole table and kind of show you guys what we're looking at. So this is Eliza Lucas Pinkney.
Oh.
So this is the second Eliza from Charles. The first wife was Eliza Lamb. So Lamb and Lucas would have been the maiden names that Margaret was looking for on hers. This Eliza married Charles at the age of 22. He was 45. It's definitely, another yawn. So definitely better than 12 and 25. We're going to take the 22 and 45. So again, it's only creepy to me because I'm close to the age of the husband, and my eldest daughter is close to that age. That's why it's very creepy to me.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely a creepy age gap for me.
They're the family that owns the market, the Pinckney. Is
Which
that
market are you talking
the
about?
Charleston market? There was a family that owns that, and they said they couldn't sell it. The Charleston market, they're the Pinckney family, right?
So you're talking about the market over this way?
Yeah.
Like the Fulong market?
Yeah.
So I know that they were involved with it somehow, but I don't know that they were like part ownership. Like this whole strip right here was owned by the great niece.
Our tour guide yesterday, our food tour, she said they owned it, and if they could not, like, if it, there was some stipulations to it. Pinckney family.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Owned it from way back.
Fair enough. Well, we are talking about 1700s. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a few hundred years ago. Who had the question about the mansion and what happened to it?
I did.
So, and then Joe, you had that one as well too, right? So, this is the only picture of the mansion that we have. This is after the Great Fire of 1861. So I gave you guys kind of like that cue of like drop it like it's hot, because we've heard it here and have gotten the full date of this location.
Really?
So
Holy
that date
shit.
was December 11th of 1861. At times, if we get a term like fire, blaze, burning, anything like that, which we did have burning earlier, we will get
That's
12, 11,
here?
61. This is exactly where we're standing. So, again, one of the few photos, like the only photo we have of the mansion. We don't have one in its glory days. This is the fire damage. So every tour guide is going to tell you about a fire that happened here in Charleston, because we've had dozens of them. I'm going to just put it out there, especially since we have a group of ladies here. I have the biggest fire. So, with that, you're looking at a map of Charleston. You're standing on the little tiny green dot on the right-hand side of this map. This just shows you how big the fire was. It went from one side of the peninsula
wow.
all the way to the other.
Oh my God.
So this was a $5 to $9 million worth of damaged fire. What does that equate to today? I have no idea, because inflation changed again 2 hours ago. So again, I have no idea what this is worth. Now,
Yeah,
as
we
far
definitely
as
know
that's
that.
concerned, like this is a giant fire, and again, I just like to point it out that it started off at the Harris Teeter grocery store right up the street. From what I understand, some homeless people were just trying to stay warm, and it got out of hand. Again, December. It does not stay warm down here all the time if you're not from down here. You know, it is a little chilly tonight, but it gets much colder. But last night we did have a weird spelling of 11 show up on yours, and somebody else heard the term December on a spirit box. So we had, you guys will see it because it all stays on the website, but it was just an odd spelling of 11. Like we had the E-L-E-V, but it was a Y-U-N at the end of it. So it looked like Alevion. And then we had somebody else here had December show up. So I was kind of like, okay, we have a December and a Levion. So we have, it's a close reference. So it wasn't like a, oh my God moment, but it was definitely, because again, I've heard the full date here before. Not to mention, 61 is a very specific number. So again, when something pops up like the age of, the ironic thing about this whole story with the Eliza we just talked about is she was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife died in January of the same year that he married the one we just talked about, 5 months later. So, ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Try to figure out which Eliza we're dealing with. So far we're dealing with 2 Elizas and 3 Charles. And there's another problem that we're going to run into later, and you guys are going to find that out. So anything else that you want to come up with, if you wanted to cherry pick, but we do get those very specific answers that come up on your spirit box. So I think that about covers all of the spirit boxes. We are going to spread out in this area a little bit, so you will unmute yours. Remember, your button is the only, it's right here. I'll go ahead and hit it for you.
Okay.
But we're not going to go in between vehicles. We're not going to be filming vehicles. You guys have the gist of that. I have to keep Kristen here with me for just a few minutes, and I'm going to be following you all around, kind of seeing, like, taking notes of what's going on with your device. Let me take a quick look at your word list, if you don't mind, before we kind of get going.
Hers is spelling out shit, so
some very vague
shit, I
stuff,
don't know what's
but
going on over
we'll
here.
talk more about that as you start getting more things that are coming up
Part
out
of
of
that
that.
shit.
All right, everybody, let's spread out. I'm gonna keep
And I just kind of roll around.
nice slow movements.
What am I supposed to ask her, Em?
What happened to the mansion?
What happened to the
And
man?
I'm asking this question out loud in my mind.
Whatever you're comfortable with. Some people just like to focus. Some people like to ask it out loud. Have you seen any numbers pop up on there yet?
Yeah, but it's all been below 1. What happened to the milk?
Jimmy, say it.
How many kids did you have? What were their names?
What's up, bitch?
every window of every car is the coldest spot.
They just said don't.
Just went like this, I'm seeing you. And then look behind you, there's the coldest spot behind you was the window.
This is crazy shit. I'm out in the parking lot, running around. I'm like, what do I see here? Ah! They're getting me! Ah! Jamie, they already attacked. I see a glow. He's coming upon you. Yeah, he's getting you, girl. You go. It is kind of crazy. I'm sure there's shit that comes on up here, but I don't know what.
I'm getting all kinds of letters.
Oh, that's freaky.
BNQZ means fucking nothing to me.
Nothing, but that is fucking crazy, though. Or is it like he said it's new, so I don't know how real that shit is. I don't think he's pulling our leg. I think this is all like shit they use.
Yeah.
But he said it's been not very active lately, last couple of weeks.
All these people having fun around here wandering around.
I know everybody's like laughing. Has anybody talked to you yet? Is
Y'all
there
don't
anything?
understand, it's just switching radio stations.
I know, but like, what does that mean though?
I was hearing bits and pieces of different songs and static and shit. It's annoying, actually. How many kids do you have? And what were their fucking names?
Listen, motherfucker, we need to know, okay?
They don't want to answer.
And listen, that person, you don't need to be parking in here. It's illegal.
Come on, Elijah and Charles. How many kids do you have and what were their names?
What were their names? As I'm sitting here, I want to know what is going on. Anything?
I hear like music and shit.
That's how Jamie is.
I thought I heard somebody say, what? Like I say, what happened to the mansion? And earlier I heard somebody say, what?
What happened to the mansion? What happened to the mansion?
Certain areas I hear more than others.
She said this is a slave thing back here.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that was me. Oh, I think that's me.
I don't know.
I don't know. It said slave.
Slave. What
Slave.
happened to the mansion?
You heard slave.
Listen.
It said slave a while ago. But then I was thinking it was just me. And it did say what?
And it said slave.
So we don't know if it's something else.
Uh-oh.
What happened to the slaves? Now that might interfere with the car. What happened to the slaves?
Oh. What happened to the mansion?
I don't know what happened to the
The
slaves.
What happened to the slaves?
What happened to the mansion? But it could, I don't know, it could be a radio.
I know, it kind of sounds like it's picking up.
Yeah, let's go
Radio
back over here.
signals.
Let's go over here. What happened to the mansion?
The beautiful mansion.
What happened to the mansion?
Have something to do with the slaves?
So other person's car just pulled up right there, so let's... I think it interferes with it. What happened to the mansion?
Are you getting anything?
Oh, she got 28.3 over there. Kristen, I think it's supposed to be above 25. Okay. 28.3? Okay, got a lot of stuff going on. And what did he say, have to be about 25?
No, I mean, he just said let him know anything. I said, come over here.
What happened to the mansion? Oh shit, something's going off.
He says,
What happened to the mansion? Yumi got what? I heard it.
What? And it
So we don't know if it was
slaves.
interferes. Slaves. What happened to the mansion?
okay.
It's picking up background something. So what did your...
Yeah, over here, I'm getting...
Now what happened? She did get a
28.3.
right here.
Yes. It's over
This is
here,
where yours lit
right
up
in
too?
here. Yeah.
So
Oh,
she
I heard
lit up right...
naked. I heard naked.
That might be the bar right there.
Oh, yeah, that's where that's coming from.
Are you naked?
Are you naked?
Oh, getting action. Hey, Kristen, she's getting action right here. Jamie.
Who
My
is?
thing gets louder when I'm over here. Like, things come through louder.
But I'm wondering if it's that interfering.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I can't figure I'm like, I heard what and slave, but then I'm like, where did that come from?
Right. Well, who else?
I mean, I live in outside of DC.
Austin.
Oh yeah, my mom lives in Waco.
I'm from Waco.
Yeah. I went to Waco. I mean, I grew up in Waco. Yeah, I live outside. I live in Northern Virginia, and then my niece, Kristen. Yeah, the other Kristen's my niece. My sister, she lives in Boston now, and then my other two girlfriends live outside of Dallas, Fort Worth. Yeah.
Like Plano or where?
Oh well, thank you. 50.
Oh, it's your birthday?
Oh gosh, yeah. We came up. We drove through here with family, with my husband and my daughter, and they live in Jacksonville. And I was like, oh my god, I want to move here. So when it was my 50th, we're like,
There's
okay,
a lot of stuff here.
right here.
Right here.
And so we decided. I was like, okay, let's do it. So yeah, we had a couple other girlfriends that backed out, but it was great. You know how it gets when you get older.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome. Yeah.
That's a great celebration.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing here?
Girls trip.
This girl's trip.
Yeah.
Getting away out
Yeah. In Austin. So where do you guys live in Austin? Texas lost tonight.
I'm like north.
OU beat them. Oklahoma State beat them.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I was so upset.
Was it a big? And what was the score?
It wasn't, honestly, I think it was a good game. It was like
okay.
34 to 41. It wasn't
they're gonna be
like, yeah, they're going to be heartbroken. My husband went to University of Texas.
So, like, what color is the big red barn? Blood. Especially if it was a direct answer. I'm good. But you guys have most of my gear out tonight. We're going to get at least two things going on before we call something paranormal. Another example. Let's say Margaret's word list has the word art on it. That doesn't mean anything over here. But then Leanne hears the number 40. Put them together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You see where this is more of an escape room than it is a ghost tour, where we're going to have to put clues together?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So
gotcha.
again, I told you, we get pieces of sentences, and again, I'm always going to be giving you, like, hey, that's a great first clue, but we're going to try to get something else to match it up. There are going to be most of our locations tonight. I'm going to withhold information on purpose. I want you to have a genuine experience. So that's the whole point. I am going to give you the brief history of these spaces that we're going to, but again, I'm going to be withholding quite a bit. You have to imagine, these tours teach me a lot. So if something comes through on a word list, or you guys heard something really uncanny, I'm going to research the hell out of it to see if it actually ties together. If it does, obviously you're going to see where that comes through. So again, I learn a lot about these locations that we're going to, because I've been touring them for quite some time now. So we are going to cut through this lot, and again, we're not going to be filming the people over there. Anthony, if you wanted to start your camera and just be kind of, pretty discreet with it, as we kind of cut through to get to the next space, you can do that.
Keep on down.
Yeah, just while we're passing that family, and then once we get into the next space, I'll kind of explain a little bit further. Speaking of cameras, two things that you're going to try to do for us. I know I said don't film people.
I'm on the side though. I'm not in the street.
Sorry.
Just protecting you.
I know.
So I know I said not to film people, but I do want you to try to keep one of us in view at all times. The reason why...
Oh, I've been deliberately going over everybody's head. Okay.
because we're the warmest thing out. So when we have a warm spot in the frame, it's much easier to find that cold spot when you're kind of spot checking the videos. So the other piece is you're going to try to keep the sky out of view. The blue dot defaults to the sky automatically. I'm sure you've seen that already.
Yeah, this is defaulting to the open door.
Right, exactly. But the sky, there's no surface there. So it's going to go up every time and give you like a 20 to 30 degree temperature because there's nothing really fully to measure. So with the other camera, where am I at with the other camera? You have it hidden from me. That's why I'm like, where did it go?
You told me to keep it down.
I did. But when you're just nice slow movements all night long. The cool thing is, and I know filming isn't always the most extraordinary job out here, but there are people with earbuds in your group that you can take their other earbud and kind of help them out with their spirit box.
I'm gonna need so much help.
You are fine,
Jamie, you
got it, girl.
But again, that's part of the reason why I always make sure there's a set of earbuds when the cameras are involved. Now with their spirit box, it's nice and easy to read, so that way, earbuds.
I just have one question. I don't want to become the annoying one about every word I say. Is there something specific that I'm looking for to say, hey, I think you want to see this, or you want to...
So I'm going to be, like, when we go to our next space, after I give the history, I'm going to spread us out a little bit. And what I do is I have to work with Kristen first to kind of show her how to use that motion sensor, and then I'm literally going to be going from person to person in 2 rounds, and I kind of take a look at everything. I'm taking a lot of notes, and I'm just your puzzle maker. You guys are finding all the pieces, and I'm putting it all together for you. So kind of look at it that way.
Okay.
All right. Are you guys ready to get away from football players and ponies?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. Let's go on some real history. Let's go do this.
All right.
I've never been anything like this. This kind of interaction before. I probably would let it be so easy. Shit, here we go. Scope it out, people. So we can pass the stroller. They are. They've been over here doing this for a while. Maybe they've drank like we usually drink. We had a job. Trying to get into
It's vital that we disappear.
Exactly. I think they have a couple kids in there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're getting high. I don't know. Back on the camera and I just... Jamie, I see a blob by you. Jamie, I see a blob right by your face. Tell him to fill me up. Can I say, hey, Mr. Ghost, Jamie needs a fill up, please.
I can really use a big O tonight.
I did. I get a big O. Okay, Michelle and Jamie need a big O. So, Ghost, come get him like I'm listening, like he can hear me as I'm videoing. There's no, video. It's only video, no. Hearing.
So, any crazy letters popping up out of that yet? I haven't heard anything.
I don't know. How do I know if there's crazy letters popping up?
They're going to be at the bottom row.
Oh,
Oh.
So you have HKG, that was what was there when I handed it over to you. So we're going to turn up the sensitivity just a little bit here. So hopefully you start getting some things popping through.
What is the scoop on this? Can I?
Oh, we're going to go through.
I'm like, Louie, I'm like, do I got somebody?
She's a
Kristen.
I watch my daughter, I love his ghost story stuff. I'm like, yes.
I know.
So, welcome to your technical first space. Now that you guys are somewhat trained on how to use these devices, let's kind of go through what this is. Am I boring already, Jill? I see that yawn.
So sorry.
I call them out every time so you guys know I'm that guy. I know history can be long, so I try to be very quick with some of the histories because you're all here to work. Yeah, you guys paid me to go to work, by the way, so look at that. Fair enough. Welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. This place used to be something. It used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. So the mansion actually sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. Now, for all of you communication device people, so spirit boxes, Ouija boards, word lists, like I am not going to be giving you questions here, like what color is George Washington's white horse? This is the first place where I'm going to be withholding information, just so you guys know. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza? They had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. That's why we use secondary clues, like the Art and 40 example that I gave. We need to know which Chuck we're talking to. because again, we'll never know unless we have a secondary clue. Now, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Like, that's a big deal, but I hate politics more than everybody here, so we're going to move on. So if I don't bring it up, it usually comes up in a negative way. Yeah, I usually get like, signer, you're a jerk, you know, those kind of things. Like, don't forget me kind of mentality. But we're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much cooler story. She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. The reason I bring that up, it's not going to be from the colonial times that she came from.
Calling me a bitch.
In the event that we're asking her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14, which would have been a common thing back in those times. Think of today's standards. And the reason I bring this up is because her husband was over double her age when they married. Definitely a creepy age gap in the 1700s. Definitely a creepy age gap now. So kind of keep that in the back of all of your minds. She married him because her father was over in England, where she's from, and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. He wants to see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in 1744 to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love, and she did remain a widow after his death. So there was no foul play, no affair, no anything like that. You don't need to poke that bear. But she was right. Dad didn't die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for today. A lot of you are wearing it right now. So when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. When she experimented with it here, she moved it to a cash crop plantation just south of here by the Stono River and got a hold of her dad to tell him that the rice plantations were going downhill and they were going to make a killing with the indigo because it was very expensive. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. So, very interesting piece. That was something absolutely unheard of. So this is a very big deal. I don't think there's any tours in Charleston unless you're on a plantation talk about indigo, especially here downtown. So with that said, that's her business. That's the boring stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So
freaking me
Joe,
out
with
right
yours,
here.
you're gonna have to cherry
She's
pick.
freaking me out right
What?
here.
What do you
This
got?
thing keeps beeping.
B-N.
No, nothing.
I figured it was calling me a bitch when I saw the B.
I'm going to go through a series of questions with each spirit box. You're going to have to cherry pick to see if you're going to get any answers out of it, because again, this is still relatively new. I haven't really come up with any questions to see what it's going to give us. So with yours, Miss Mimi.
Miss Mimi.
Your device gives us like 1 to 2 syllable terms. So what's the other one that has that? So Joe, you have that one, right? The little small guy, right? Yeah, perfect. So you're going to get the same questions because those two devices work a little bit differently than the other spirit boxes. The mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it and when did that happen. We're obviously looking for a very specific date. So right down to the day. So again, at times if we get what happened to it, then we can get at least 2 out of the 3 digits that actually occurred. They're very specific numbers. You can also ask about the marriage question, like that's a big one too that you can get out of very simple things. So again, I try to keep it nice and simple with these two because it's going to give you little tiny blips when we start unmuting it. Leanne, with yours, I want you to go after Eliza's death. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are anything dealing with her death you can ask, but those are the 4 main ones that we normally get answers out of. With yours, Jamie, right? Oh, let me get names down.
You're
good. So,
You are good.
now with yours, the children. I already told you there's one. His name was Charles. There's more. You can ask how many and what their names were. That's it. The reason why, there's a tragedy among those kids. If we poke the bear on this one, all activity will stop, including any little numbers that Kristen over here is getting. And she hasn't told me she's gotten anything yet, but everything will stop, and we're all going to know it's you. So no pressure at all.
You got to ask
Miss
that.
Margaret, you have a very pictures. Either take 5 or 500. It doesn't matter to me, but there's no flash on this because I don't want any false positives. So when you're taking pictures, be very, very still. So that way it's not all blurry and I'm trying to analyze a bunch of street lights that are got little swirlies in them, that kind of thing. So the more still you are, the better. So the cool thing is that the 2 people around you have an extra earbud. So in the event you want to actually help somebody with one of theirs,
Never got to use it. You never got to use equipment.
so you're going to be very still.
Well,
Oh, you got to use this.
it's not.
Now, Kristen, you are my multitasker. So with this guy particularly, get it started up.
He's assuming because you're young, you still have that ability.
This is also going to measure electricity in the air, but it is way more accurate. This one we actually use to try to actually detect what's actually going on. We're still going to do some debunking with it, but I want to know on the big numbers what's 2.5 and higher. The reason 2.5 is because that's going to be Sarah's second green dot. So that way we can kind of see like what's actually happening. So we're looking for patterns, rhythms, anything like that, major spikes. The bottom number is ambient temperature. In the event Anthony finds something on his camera, you and I are going to debunk it or prove it really, really fast. Because this little guy right here is going to measure the air around it. It's just nice to have at the ready in the event he finds something in real time. Last but not least, and we don't use this in every location, but it is super handy to have. In the event something gets close to that antenna, it's going to go off. I'm not touching it right now. I'm touching it now. There's obviously different tones, different colors. I point it down because it's super bright. So you and I are going to talk more about that 2 stops from now when we start using it. So that way, you're going to see how that actually works. For now, I just need you to get used to how those numbers move around on your screen, and let me know anything 2.5 and higher when we're not on a sidewalk. The reason not on a sidewalk is because the parking meters and crosswalk signs, the electrical lines for that are underneath the sidewalks. They make them go off. So a normal spike for you would be like a 3 to a 7, and that's going to be anywhere from like your first green to like a yellow orange. So just kind of don't get super excited about those. All right. The bag is empty.
We're so
Jamie's so
stressed out.
stressed out.
We want to do well. we
I'm
want
not
to find
stressed
some
out.
yes.
I'm like, yeah, I see the blobs are coming.
Thanks for making the bag much lighter.
This is a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's extra batteries and all kinds of extra things inside there.
Now, what was mine again?
Yours is a spirit
When we get
box.
over that
Spirit
way,
box.
he'll turn it off mute.
Yeah, we'll turn it off.
Now, with this particular spot, a couple of things. We are going to be, I can't make the ghost do anything, so kind of have that already preset in your minds. I will tell you that the last 2 nights have probably been the lowest amount of activity I've seen in a long time. So, again, it is just one of those pieces. I can't make things up, and the ghosts are not on the payroll, so I can't make them come out and say boo. So, again, what happens, happens. That's why I don't time this. It is what it is. So the other piece is the cameras. There are 3 cameras in play tonight. A couple of things about the cameras. We're going to be in areas where there's going to be parked cars, and there will be people walking by. People do not like to be filmed, and they definitely don't like their cars to be filmed. So just kind of keep that in mind. Think of it as if it were your own vehicle. And again, you're already recording, Miss Kristen, so we kind of kept yours on already. When I do a Andy's coming kind of mentality, yours is much easier because you have a cell phone. Much easier to hide. But Kristen, yours, you're going to point it right at the ground. So if somebody's going to their vehicle, just kind of keep that in mind.
I'll try to hold it.
You'll be fine. I got you. If not, I'll be the bad dad.
Tell us.
Yeah.
You just tell us what to do.
All right. So a lot of terms coming up.
Like inevitable burning.
Burning?
Jack.
What'd you say?
Inevitable burning. Jack.
Interesting. So the burning. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Some of the spaces.
Other words, but those are kind of standing out.
And I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to see kind of like how these tie together. But when we're near a space that we're going to be going to, sometimes there's bleed over. So we're at a space right now, and we're really close to another space we're going to be to very, very soon. So sometimes there's bleed over in between those 2 places. Once we leave this part of the city, we're not going to be in that bleed over anymore. So I wouldn't expect anything. So I'll explain more about that as we kind of go through this. You guys are going to see, like, this is a paranormal 101 crash course. So again, we're going to be talking a lot about different paranormal theories and that kind of thing. So
Can I go real quick?
absolutely, we're already recording it. You can catch what story we're about to tell anyway.
Yep.
She's like, I'm good. So here's the reason why we started here. Big John's. Of course, the place is haunted, and we just sent her inside. Awesome.
Go, Jamie, it's haunted. Go, Jamie. Go, Jamie.
We hope to see you again.
I know, right? So, this place used to be owned by a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. Imagine that, he named it after himself.
Big John.
He played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of a location, I will always do my best to slow down on specific keywords that show up at that space. I talk pretty quickly because I'm from the north. That's the other reason why we record everything. Keywords here are going to be 1947, Big John, anything relative to a bar, New York, Giants. You guys are getting the point, right?
Yeah.
So, now, with that said, here's why the place is haunted. John used to sit in the back of the bar, on your right, so basically on the inside of that door. And he would tell the bartender of the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. And one night, 2 guys came in, they weren't old enough to drink. So he had the bartender throw them out. They left pretty pissed off, but they came back the next night and they tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on, and he slammed down his beer, and he goes over and just started pounding these guys, just beating the hell out of them. A couple of gunshots went off. John got grazed in the neck. but the bullet landed behind him in the wall. He gets up after being the only one that's been shot. He goes back to the bar, tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor an ambulance. Now, irony of the story is that normally if I tell you a building is haunted, you automatically think of some kind of tragic death that occurred there. Nobody died in the story I just told you. So what's haunting the place? It's the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. Even if the new renovation of Big John's filled it in, that means they sealed Big John's blood inside the building. Now, people that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache, which is exactly why I start here. You're about to seek out paranormal activity. I don't know how much of it we're going to find, but I also don't know how it's going to affect you. Again, I don't know you guys that well yet. In the event anybody feels any of those symptoms that I just mentioned, between the headache, the nausea, the dizziness, I need to know immediately, so that way we can move the whole group, get that person to safety. Is that fair?
Wow.
That is probably the scariest thing I'm going to tell you all night long. And we're also going to, I'm not going to call everything supernatural and paranormal. If somebody's not feeling well, it's not going to be because it goes to, like, possess them. So, again, I'm not that guy. So, let's get your mind off your own health, because this got really real for some of you. Now, you guys taking other history tours here in Charleston? Yeah. Okay.
No, we did history ghost tour in New York.
Okay.
More than once.
Yeah.
We've done Gettysburg. We did Boston.
Well, the reason why I ask is because every tour guide here in Charleston tells you about our big earthquake. Our big earthquake happened in 1886. It's a big deal for us because this is South Carolina. We're not supposed to have earthquakes. So again, we all talk about it. The Big Johnson building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building also wraps around the front. A piece of it broke off during that earthquake, hit somebody in the back of the head, and allegedly killed them. The previous owner of this bar, it was called Cane Rum Bar, he used to claim to see dark shadows in the middle of the street after closing. I say allegedly a lot with this story because I have no proof of that story. It's just a great segue so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour, even though I just brought it back up again. So, are we all ready to go learn more about your devices? Yeah, let's get off this noisy street corner. We're going to go this way.
Do it. I'm excited.
So, Margaret, where are you guys from? Okay. I live in New York City. That's what I heard. I live in the West Side.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
94th and Broadway.
I'm from Texas, but I live in Boston now. Yeah, we're
I live by I went in Murder, and then my mom, and then my girlfriend lives in Dallas, outside Dallas, Fort Worth.
So I'm going to line everybody back up on the wall over here just for a few minutes. So normally I would take us through there, but it looks like somebody's shoulder's broken and I don't want to be disruptive. So this is what I call, this is the big red barn lot. So we're not going to stay here a long time. It's just so that we can explain your devices a little bit further. Normally we would do it right in the middle of the lot, but again, there's a family down there. I don't want to freaking out people that were filming them and that kind of thing. So
Very nice.
now, what's weird is there's been some cops sitting over there with their lights on for the past couple of weeks. So I've also been doing this over here just to not disrupt whatever they're actually going on.
Right.
Well, no, I think they're seeing a ghost tour, so they're making the ooh sounds. Like, yeah, I hear it all night, every night. So I told you, I get a lot of hecklers. Now, with that said, the history here is very, very simple, and I kept it that way on purpose to use that as an example to explain the devices a little bit further. So, this is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston, 1860s to 1920s. So, that's it. That's the only history. Keywords being delivery, milk, eggs, anything relative to a stable. You guys got it. But there's a lot of communication devices that we're using tonight, so let's kind of go through those really quickly. Now, what's the first question everybody wants to ask a Ouija board or a spirit box? When you're talking to a ghost, what's the first question you think somebody wants to ask?
Who's here?
Who is it? What was that?
Who's here? Or are you here?
Are you here? We're going to take that one. So, in the event that you hear the answer of no, that means somebody's here. You guys got my point. We are not going to be asking yes/no questions all night long. Regardless of whatever your TV shows tell you, paranormal evidence isn't kind of a yes or a no. Yeah, we don't get any of that. We're going after specific details. Even if you're not a firm believer in anything paranormal, it's okay. You want to get some specific details. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, you already know the answer. The answer is red, right? So we're looking for the word red on Margaret's device, but the rest of you are using song lyrics and DJs to convey messages back to us, and the word red might not be available to them. fire truck, blood, heart. Those three things are specifically. So, with that said, we're gonna go, Kristen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see how I'm doing with names
Kristen.
tonight. Spirit boxes.
I see you. Oh my God, there's an orb. I'm just kidding. It's coming across you.
It's me. I died. I
Spirit
died
boxes,
earlier.
Like you guys all
It's
watch
going
TV
across right now.
shows and that kind of thing, right? So
Yes.
spirit boxes, if you're unfamiliar with them, Kristen seems to be the only one that watches the TV shows. Wow.
She's the enthusiast. Yeah. I drove the experience. No, we're excited.
They don't sound that way. We're so excited.
So
We
spirit
drug them
boxes
too, so don't
are
worry.
basically, this is the white noise you would find on your TV
Oh,
shows.
yes.
And then your
Oh,
host is
yes.
going to tell you the bullshit he thinks he heard in the middle
It's a
of it.
poltergeist.
Yeah, and put it on the middle of the screen. Yeah, we're going to be doing that in real time. Yeah, I know, right? So basically, with us doing this in real time, those disembodied voices that they actually show you on TV are a rarity. I capture about 4 or 5 of those clear voices, not the mumble jumble that they show you on TV, about 4 or 5 a year, not 12 an episode. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, we're using a very beginner method because most of you, if not all of you, have never done this before.
No.
So we're going to the very basics. I'm allowing the radio chatter to come through by slowing down the sweep. What does that mean? We're listening for song lyrics, DJs, and commercials. If a DJ comes through and we can make out what they're saying, like welcome to Charleston or buy a Kia today, like I want to know that that's what you guys heard. The reason why is one of those words in that sentence or phrase might actually be relevant to the location. With this guy, it's usually a 50-50 shot. We can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history we're talking about, or even something going on with one of you. You guys bring me ghosts all the time, and they're trying to communicate. It happens. So, again.
You gotta do a smoke thing, like you hear, like, the smoke, does it come back with you? I've heard that on the Zach.
No, there's a lot of things already on my bag to make sure nothing is going home with you guys.
Okay,
Trust me,
thank you.
that is a regular occurrence.
Okay, yes,
So-
thank you, because I heard that.
And it's
that
usually in the opposite
really?
direction.
Yes.
It's you guys bring your ghost, they're going home with me. I'm the guy with all the tech that can talk back to them. You have to remember, like, you brought a lost great-grandmother with you, and they're coming home with me. So, yeah. It's more to protect me than it is for you guys. No offense. That's just the way it goes. Oh, awesome.
She said
Good
his
for you.
grandmother has a foul mouth.
Oh, you guys will love my dad. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like he says, if Dad comes, he's a lot of fun.
So there's a lot of spirit boxes we're going to be using tonight, so I'm going to kind of do a quick brief on all of them. But the cool thing about this one particularly is because the person using it is going to have an earbud in. They're going to be the only person to hear it in real time.
Oh, wow.
However, I'm going to be writing down everything they hear in real time, and then it's recording the entire radio suite for us. So the cool thing is I'm going to spot check this recording for you tomorrow morning and tell you what I heard out of it. If it's relevant to our location, I will tell you why, and then give you a link to verify the information.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so again, I'm not making anything up out here. Like, this is a legit investigation.
This is legit.
So, Leanne, with you, you're going to have that earbud in. I don't want
I see
earbuds
it,
back,
Orb.
by the way. Earwax is gross. So
Okay.
you gotta
Orb.
orb it.
You got an orb by your face.
Yeah, I buy them in bulk. Your volume
It's coming
button
towards
is right
you.
here.
I see it. It's a blue.
He came on her
It's
face.
a heel at the very top. So pop one of those in your ear and kind of get
It's
how that
exploded.
We're going to be using 2 of that exact one, but this one's not going to record specifically because if I were to give you 4 hours of radio chatter, somebody in this group's going to hunt me down and kill me and make me the ghost. So I'll be recording whatever that person hears in real time to be able to put it in my handy dandy notebook, and it'll be in your real time notes at the bottom of your data. So with this one, I want to keep you awake. So we're going to...
Oh, you go, girl.
Needs to be kept away.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
she needs to be
you're
awake.
going through this one. Again, earwax is gross. Your volume wheel is right here, so it's the wheel, not the button. I'm just making sure it's turned all the way down, so kind of get used to how that guy actually works.
Do I have to do anything?
Turn the volume up and down to your
And put it
comfort
in your
level.
ear.
Listen.
You have to listen.
I don't like to be responsible.
Then you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, we're all responsible, which is not.
Nurse Jamie.
The next spirit box we don't actually have to listen to. This guy, if you watch your TV shows, this is like an obelisk that you would see on TV where it gives you the words in the middle of the screen. The reason why I use this particularly is because this has 4 times the amount of terms in it than an obelisk does. So it kind of gives us a much bigger grab bag to be able to sift through and kind of see what's going on with it. So an obelisk, again, is going to give us a word from time to time. this is a phone app. 80% of this is going to be bullshit. I'm just putting it out there right now. The other 20% is going to be relevant. Yeah, I'm always going to be honest with you. There's no point. That's why my reviews are the way they are. So the other 20% is going to be relevant to the space, the location, and person. You guys get the gist of that. The cool thing is that it gives us all of those terms and phrases and saves them with timestamps. So I know exactly where we were. You're going to get the entire list back. If it's relevant, sometimes it's relevant to one of you, and you didn't want to tell us in the entire group with 10 people, so that's why I give you the full list. Even when I'm going through Leanne's recording, I will write down things that might not be relevant to the space, but it might be relevant to somebody else. So again, that's why you're going to see a mixture of things that might be relevant to the hunt or versus what's going on with one of you. Now, last night they had 74 terms. That's about an average, just so you know. But again, remember, 80% of it is not going to be anything. So Margaret, with yours, this one is, again, we don't have to listen to it, and I don't want to see every word that pops up. Otherwise, we're going to be out here for like 6 hours. I'll come to you when I want to see the list. The way you do that is just to hit the little white box next to the word. Your first word on your list is going to be fatigue, which is going to be referring to you. So,
I love it.
got a little bit of voice. Nope. You two are basically going to be working together to, kind of talk and try to get some answers out of it. Okay. The cool thing is you're going to see with all of these different communication devices, like sometimes things line up as a full sentence. You might have one word, you might have the beginning of a sentence, you guys might have the end of a sentence. So again, sometimes we get that full sentence out of multiple devices.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Happens all the time. Let's see.
Because you said it was a volume, but it's been changing channels.
Yeah, it's supposed to change channels.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's going to go through those channels hundreds of times tonight.
Oh.
What you're listening for, you can undo the little twist tie so you don't have to hold it up to your face either. There you go.
Oh,
yeah, it's not a walkie-talkie to the dead.
I thought I messed it up.
Nope, you're good. So this particular spirit box, the only difference with this one is that it's going to sweep through the AM and FM at the same time and then try to take out the white noise that's being heard on the ones with the earbuds. So the cool thing about this one is this is probably the most accurate spirit box we have. It's about 75% accurate, but it is open air. So what does that mean? That means we're going to keep it on mute until we're past the pony area. I don't like to disturb the horses that are nearby. So again, same principle. We're going to be asking questions and hopefully getting some answers out of this one. So I'm losing names. Sherry, thank you.
Mimi.
Come
on. Mimi.
Sherry works. This is the way you hold it. The blinking lights are at the top. On your right-hand side, there's only one button. It's the mute button. So I'll let you kind of know when it's safe to unmute it.
Okay.
So that one's actually going to go to you.
It's like a beast.
It is. It's not very heavy, but it is. It's large in size.
Oh yeah. Not the buttons.
So this spirit box is going to work the exact same way. You're going to have an earbud in and it's trying to take out the white noise. So hopefully you're only going to hear words come out of this as long as you or even with the body closed. We never know what's going to come out of this. This device, this whole setup is actually brand new. Like I just added it weeks ago. But this is an older style spirit box, which I am familiar with. But we've still been playing with this temperamental, like again, not going to hear as much as Leanne, but hopefully you're going to get a few words out of it that are going to be definitely relevant to the space. So again, here we'll actually get it. You can't control the volume on this one. So if you don't want to listen to it and have a set volume, just pop it out of your ear. That's the easiest way for that. So you guys, most of you watch the TV shows, so this one is a lot different. This one hasn't even been introduced to the TV shows yet. It's called an Envoy, but what is it exactly? It is a digital Ouija board. So, in a nutshell, this is going to be working off of electromagnetic fields, which we're going to get to in just a second, and there's a cursor moving over all of the letters. Anytime there's an electricity spike in the air, it's going to stop that cursor and save that letter to the bottom row. What are we looking for out of this? Anagrams, full names, full words.
Right.
Again, we're still teaching the ghosts how to use this damn thing. So again, it's very interesting. It's a little too sensitive right now because we are on a sidewalk where there's electrical poles and might be little electrical spikes. And again, we're looking for anagrams and anything that we can actually make out of this guy.
Look at it.
So this thing is really cool to use, but it hasn't been super fruitful for us just yet. So the funny thing is actually I want to hand this one over to you. So she's like, I'm game. We'll see what comes up out of it.
Yeah.
So again, that device you'll probably start seeing on those TV shows probably next season, probably January, February. But again, it's called an Envoy. So it's very interesting. I'll call it the Ouija board all night because it's obviously much easier to explain. So
Pretty cool.
It is.
It's a different kind of Ouija board.
It is, for sure. All right, so you guys have all seen
Kristen.
right? So
Kristen number 2.
Kristen and Sarah, right?
Yeah. Kristen number
So
Wow,
I'm a writer. You're all characters to me. So that's why I have you guys show up early. So I see where my chatty Kathy is. Where's my, where's my one gentleman?
the chatty Cathy's, all of us.
All of us. We've got a little drink.
Now,
No, we haven't.
Who's in trouble?
I'm the mother. I take care of the
But
children.
this is what measures electromagnetic fields. This is going to measure electricity in the air. So we use this one specifically to try to debunk a lot of things. You've seen it on TV because it's super sensitive. And that's the reason why they use it. When this thing goes orange or red, it's a ghost is nearby kind of mentality, right? It's super, it's as high as it goes kind of thing. Yeah, we're going to be using another style, but I like to pull this one out too. And because this job is so simple, Sarah, I'm giving you 2 jobs. So your second job, all I need to know on this guy, you don't have to hit anything, just let me know what colors you see. I already have the measurements memorized. So if you say you've seen orange, I already know what that means. So you just have to tell me what colors. But you're also going to